Hey everybody, this is Liam from Planned Parenthood, and I'm going to talk to you about Planned Parenthood services. So first off, our mission at Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood of Central and Western New York works to provide high-quality, non-judgmental reproductive health care, protects and supports every person's right to make voluntary informed decisions about their sexual and reproductive health in order to lead healthy and fulfilling lives. Planned Parenthood of Central and Western New York protects and provides healthcare and education that empowers individuals and families with respect, without judgment, no matter what. Here's our Planned Parenthood logo. So who do we serve? We serve everybody. It doesn't matter your race, your gender identity, your sexuality, age, whatever. We are here for you no matter what. Here are our major locations in the Western New York area. We are Planned Parenthood of Central and Western New York, so we do have more locations in Central New York, but these are the ones in this general area. We also have one in like Batavia, Rochester, Syracuse, but here, Main Street, closest one probably to most of us in Buffalo. We have one in Niagara Falls on Portage Road. We have one in North Tonawanda on Webster Street, right near the canal. And then one in Center Road in West Seneca, where our abortions are being done currently. So here is our website, but our website recently got updated. So I'm going to show you guys our updated website. So because of COVID-19 and everything like that, we have updated our website to give you guys some information about how we are working through COVID-19 and how we're making sure our doors can stay open even though we are dealing with this crisis. One of the major things we've started doing is creating telehealth. This is pretty new to us, but we are able to do telehealth now. So let's click on telehealth and learn a little bit more about it. So telehealth, for you guys that don't know, is using the computer or your cell phone to access medical care. So we started doing this because of COVID-19. Again, we're all trying to deal with this in our own ways, and we want to make sure that our doors stay open. So in order to help with that and keep our patients safe, we are now doing telehealth. Sorry, that was my dog. Telehealth reduces your exposure to COVID-19. So some common appointments you can use for telehealth. Birth control. If you need to get a new birth control prescription or start birth control for the first time, we can prescribe you pretty much most of the birth controls we offer. Obviously, we can't prescribe you ones that have to be inserted, like the IUD or the implant. You would have to go into your office or into a office for those. But we can do birth control pill prescriptions, patch prescriptions, ring prescriptions, things like that. We can also do vaginal infection screenings, UTI screenings, STI screenings, HIV screenings, and PrEP. Or not HIV screenings, but we can do HIV PrEP prescriptions. So for you guys who don't know, PrEP is the pill you take once a day to help protect you from HIV if you are HIV negative. And we can also do gender-affirming hormone care through our telemedicine appointments. So to schedule an appointment, we currently are not doing online appointments. Again, because of COVID-19, we've switched up how we're doing things a little bit. So right now for appointments, you need to call. And we'll show you guys a number to call in a few seconds. But if you want, when you're on the website, just go to call for an appointment, and you'll get the number. You can call. To prepare for your appointment, we're doing it through a secured video chat similar to FaceTime or Skype. But you do want to be in a well-lit, private, quiet location, right? We don't want people walking in on us during our medical screenings. Just like you wouldn't want someone walking in on you when you're in like an actual clinic, you don't really want people walking in on you when you're talking to your doctor usually. Telehealth appointments work on mobile devices via your web browser or your desktop using, again, your web browser. Things like Chrome, Safari, Firefox are all accessible for a telehealth medicine. Again, it is also very confidential. We don't want people finding out your health information, so we keep it very confidential. Once you're connected, make sure that your microphone and video are working so that you can see and hear your provider. There is a virtual waiting room, so once you're in, you'll be placed in a virtual waiting room. Just like you gotta wait for an appointment when you come into our clinics, unfortunately, we do have to have virtual waiting rooms so you can be checked in by a staff person. They'll do your intake, talk to you about your insurance and how you want to pay for it. We'll talk about how you can, different kinds of insurances that we can use at Planned Parenthood in a few minutes. But no, we do accept most major insurances, Medicaid, and the Family Planning Benefit Program, which is part of the Medicaid system. If you don't have insurance, again, we will work with you to try to find an insurance for you, or we will work with you on the sliding fee scale, which is you get charged based on kind of how much you wait or how much you make. You'll then be put back into the waiting room while you wait for your provider. It can take anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes. Plan your approach. Think about what you want to accomplish during your appointment. Think about why you made this appointment. Was it for birth control? Was it because you may have been exposed to an STI? Do you have some sort of symptoms you need to talk to someone about? Do you have, discharge coming from your penis or vagina? Do you have like aches or pains in your stomach or your vagina area or your penis area? Get ready at home. Again, find a quiet place to talk, away from children, away from pets. Obviously, sometimes it's hard to be away from pets, but try to make it as private as possible. It's going to take about 30 minutes or so. So you need to find a place where you can be alone for 30 minutes. If you need someone to watch after your kids for 30 minutes, or you need to go away from your parents for 30 minutes, things like that. Make sure you charge or plug in your phone so you don't have to do it during the appointment, or so that it doesn't die during the appointment. We all know how crazy it can be when our phone starts to die when we're video chatting. Video chat takes up a lot of battery space or power or whatever. So make sure that you're charged fully or you got it plugged in so we can not have to worry about that during the appointment. And then talk it through. What prompted this appointment again? What symptoms do you have, if any? And what do you need out of it? So here's the number to call. Again, you can click up at the top for the number or right here to make an appointment with us at Planned Parenthood Central and Western New York. Cool. So let's go back to the homepage and see if there's anything else on here that we want to do. So to get to our website, up here it says plannedparenthood.org/Planned Parenthood-Central-Western-New York. You don't actually need to type all that in. If you want to get to our website, all you gotta do is type in ppcwmi.org, and boom, you got that. At the top, you see who we are, patient resources, getting involved, donate, search, things like that. Who we are just talks about who we are as Planned Parenthood. It tells you, again, our phone number, our locations. We have a lot more locations than we used to, or than I was talking about just a second ago. Webster Street, though. Webster Street's still there. Sorry. Then we have patient resources. This is just information for patients. All over here, patient forms, patient portals, resource videos, paying your bills online, telehealth visits. Again, you have questions, we have answers, all sorts of stuff. So cool. So that's our website. Again, I have pictures of it on this PowerPoint, but it does look a little bit different right now because of COVID. Here's Restore, one of our programs that we do, which is for sexual assault services for people living in Rochester, Central New York area. You can make an appointment. We used to have people be able to make appointments online, but again, we're not doing that right now because of COVID-19. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to start doing that again, but right now we're just doing everything through the phone just to kind of explain everything to people. Payment systems, questions, our locations, everything that we already went through. So medical services. Let's talk a little bit about why people might come to Planned Parenthood. Major things are like birth control, breast exams, if you're worried about having breast cancer, emergency contraception, so Ella. If you want Plan B, you can just go to any pharmacy in New York State to get Plan B. It's over the counter. But if you want something a little bit stronger and a little bit more effective, you might want to come into the clinic and get Ella. You can come in for an emergency appointment. We can usually get you in same day. But again, we really encourage you to make a phone call so that we can make sure you have an appointment. And emergency contraception, telemedicine can work through that. So make an appointment for telemedicine. They'll call you up. They'll get you a prescription. They'll send it to your local pharmacy, whatever pharmacy you go to, and you can go in and pick it up. We have annual exams like Pap tests and colonoscopies. Again, Pap tests are for vaginas to test your cervical cells to see if you have any sort of abnormal growths in your cervix. colonoscopies are for your anus or your butt, and they test you again for like polyps in your anus to see if you have any sort of like abnormal growths in your anus. Condoms, we have free condoms. Usually you can come right into our health care centers and grab a handful, and you can do that right now, but because of COVID, we don't really want a lot of like people just coming in just to grab condoms. If you need condoms, let us know on Facebook or something, and we will figure out a way to get you to them in a safe environment so that we're not exposing people to too many people from outside environments. We do HIV testing, counseling, and education. We do HPV vaccines. So if you don't have your HPV vaccine yet, we really encourage you to get it. It's super effective, super safe, and it prevents you from getting certain types of cancer that are caused by the HIV virus. Or HPV virus, HPV virus. We also have language services. So if you or anybody you know speaks a language besides for English, we do have services to help make sure that there is no language barrier when it comes to healthcare. Because again, we want you to get care no matter what language you speak, no matter what race, gender, ethnicity, anything like that. Some more things, PrEP. We talked about PrEP a little bit. It's a pill you take once a day to prevent yourself from getting HIV. It stands for pre-exposure prophylactic. If you've been exposed to HIV, there's something called PEP you can take, which stands for post-exposure prophylactic, but we don't offer that at Planned Parenthood, unfortunately. You would have to go to an emergency room to get that. We do pregnancy testings and option counseling. So if you come to Planned Parenthood because you think you're pregnant, we'll give you a pregnancy test, and then we'll talk to you about your options. Again, you can obviously keep the baby. You can give the baby up for adoption. We work with some great adoption services. Or you can have an abortion as long as it is within a specific time period. We do medication abortions and in-clinic abortions. Depending on how far along a pregnancy is will depend on what kind of abortion you can have. Medication abortions, you take a pill or 2 pills. You go home, have it in the comfort of your own home. An in-clinic abortion is for when the pregnancy is a little bit farther along, and this would have to be done again in clinic. We do testing and treatment for HIV, for STIs. We do urine testing for gonorrhea and chlamydia. If you need an HIV test, it's just a little finger prick, and it's a rapid HIV test, so you get your results in about 5-10 minutes. For the other ones, gonorrhea and chlamydia, where you pee in a cup, it takes about 3 to 5 days to get those results. And the good thing about testing is that no news is good news, which can be really nerve-wracking for people, right? You don't get a call, your heart's beating, you think like maybe they lost your number or something. We don't lose your number. If you don't get a call, you're totally fine. We get urgent visits for things like UTIs or yeast infections. So if you got a real bad yeast infection that won't go away, through over-the-counter medications, you can come in and get a little bit stronger medication for that. UTI is the same thing. And we have a mobile outreach unit. Unfortunately, it's, again, not really going right now because of COVID, but in the future, we hope to have it back up and running. So the Family Planning Benefit Program, I promised to talk about this when we were talking about insurance. So the Family Planning Benefit Program is part of Medicaid in New York State. And it's a free family planning service for individuals who meet certain criteria. One, you have to be of childbearing age. So teens can get this, college students can get this, pretty much anybody who's started going through puberty, for females or people with uteruses, if you've had your first period. For males, it's kind of a little bit harder to tell, but once you've started producing sperm, you're of childbearing age. It's for any New York State resident. You have to be a citizen of New York State, so people from Pennsylvania, they can't access the service. Canadians, they can't access the service, things like that. You have to have an eligible income levels, which the income levels are actually pretty high. So most people qualify for this. I even qualify for this as a full-time employed educator for Planned Parenthood. But Planned Parenthood does offer me my own private insurance, and so that is what I would use if I was going to Planned Parenthood. And it's also for individuals not ready to enroll in Medicaid. So some things you will need to bring, especially for your appointment, especially if you want to use the Family Planning Benefit Program, your full legal name, obviously, your date of birth, a photo ID, so your driver's license, your permit, passport, even your school ID. If your school ID has a photo of you on it, you can bring that in and we'll accept it. You'll also need to know your social security number. This one's sometimes the hardest one to figure out because I know when I was a high school student, even a college student, I didn't know my social security number. So you want to make sure that you know it or you get it written down somehow. Ask your parents for it. You can ask your school. Your school has it on file, so they can give it to you too. Those are the two main places I would go to get my social security number. You also just might have your social security card, but I know when I was in high school, I didn't know where my social security card was. My parents knew where it was, and so I couldn't get it unless I wanted to talk to them about it. You do have to prove your earned income or unearned income. So make sure if you have a job or something, you do bring in your most recent pay stub so you can show them how much you make, because you do have to be under that specific level. And you have to have a proof of address. This can be mail you got to your house. If you have your driver's license for your photo ID, that has your proof of address on it. You mostly just have to prove you live in New York State. So sometimes, even with a student ID, we can prove you live in New York State because you have to live in New York State to go to a Buffalo public school. This is 100% confidential. So some younger people who use this, they don't want to use their parents' insurance because they don't want their parents to know they came to Planned Parenthood. I personally recommend talking to your parents about sex. If you want to come to Planned Parenthood, we're here for you. But I encourage you to talk to your parents about it before you come in. However, not all parents are understanding. And if you can't talk to your parents about this, I understand. And we are here for you no matter what. So what does Family Planning Benefit Program cover? Most of what we offer at Planned Parenthood is covered under the Family Planning Benefit Program. Most of the birth control methods we offer, screenings for STIs and treatment for STIs are covered, emergency contraception is covered, pregnancy tests are covered, annual exams and Pap tests, HIV counseling and testing, and counseling before or after pregnancy are all covered under the Family Planning Benefit Program. So another thing we do at Planned Parenthood besides for our medical services are our advocacy services. I'm not going to get too involved in the advocacy part because I don't do too much of this, but we have things like Day of Action. Our TRT program goes to Day of Action every year. Unfortunately, this year it's been canceled because it was supposed to be done in May, and we're all on lockdown until at least May 15th. We do have internships at Planned Parenthood for college students and postgraduate students. And then there's this thing called Generation Action that's in colleges. If you're interested in it, Google Planned Parenthood Generation Action, and it's a group that kind of develops on colleges to help push for reproductive rights on college campuses. Finally, education. So education is the part of Planned Parenthood I'm a part of, and we do a lot of amazing work. We do comprehensive, age-appropriate, evidence-based, and medically accurate sexuality education. We maintain and promote health, strengthen parent-child communication, foster decision-making, and other life skills. So this parent-child communication is really, really important. I do a lot of programs with kids where I encourage children to talk to their parents or their guardians. And I do a lot of work with parents where I teach them how do you talk to your kids about sex in an age-appropriate way. How do we talk to our kids effectively about sex so that they listen to us and things like that. We work in a lot of different communities too. Schools, churches and other faith-based organizations, youth agencies, parent organizations, group homes, community agencies. We even do one-on-one sessions. So parents will sometimes call us up and ask us to talk to their kids one-on-one about certain problems or certain concerns they have. We're totally happy to do that. And we'll pretty much go anywhere, except for a person's house. We don't like to go to people's actual houses, but any place besides that, we're usually pretty willing and able to go to. So some topics we cover. Planned Parenthood Western New York Service of Central and Western New York Services. That's what I'm talking to you guys about today. Anatomy and puberty. Whenever I do, several sessions with people, I often start with anatomy and puberty because we want to start at that kind of really basic level. What's a penis? What's a vagina? What's a vulva? What are testicles? Things like that are really, really important for that baseline knowledge. Healthy relationships. What is a healthy relationship? How do we create healthy relationships? How do we identify unhealthy relationships? What's consent? Things like that. Consent down here. Birth control. We go through all the different kinds of birth control options, and we kind of do birth control counseling. We help students, decide for themselves which is the best birth control that I want to use, or do I want to use birth control at all? Maybe I want to use something else. Maybe I just want to not have sex. Maybe I want to use condoms. Things like that. We talk about STIs and HIV. What are they? How do we contract them? How do we prevent them? Which ones are curable? Which ones are not curable? We talk about safer sex. There's no such thing as 100% safe sex. So we talk about safer sex. What are things we can do to make our sex safer and more enjoyable? We talk about LGBTQ awareness. It's really important that we talk about queer awareness and queer issues, that we can get the idea out that, everybody belongs, right? Everybody's cool. Again, we talk about consent, media literacy, and so many more things. We also have peer services or peer education services. Things like Teen Reality Theater in Erie County. This is a theater group that does performances on different topics about sexual health, relationships, and other kind of issues or concerns teens have about their lives. We have a drop-in center in Niagara Falls called The Connection. You guys might have heard about it. It's a really awesome place to go. We have video games you can play. We have after-school learning opportunities. We help teenagers find jobs. We have basketball games, homework help, all sorts of stuff. Unfortunately, The Connection, again, it's closed because of COVID, but once it reopens, we're here for y'all. And if you go to their Facebook page, The Connection Facebook page, they will tell you all the things they can help you with while we're still on lockdown. We can help you get your working papers. We can help you look for jobs. We can help you find condoms, all sorts of stuff. All right, so thanks, y'all. It was really fun doing this program with you all, and I hope you learned a lot of really useful information.